right, let's do an audio visual check. How's everybody doing? Let's get everything set up and ready for the slow markets. Got to get my mic all fixed up. How's everybody doing? Sounds good. Thank you, Hoop. Thank you. Just me tonight. Jay did an amazing job running the show during the day show. And then at the buzzer, and last thing I would want to do is to say, okay, now you got to come join me for slow markets. And like I said, Chicago, everyone's talking Chicago next week. So he deserves a little bit of a rest, prepare for the Chicago trip. No time off. Yes. Let me get a few things set up on my end. Coach Jay needs a nap. He might be taking a nap right now. I know I would. Yeah, I'm getting that risk disclosure, chat. Getting the risk disclosure. There is the top step risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. As always, this is for educational purposes only. Everything I say is not financial advice. What else? Yeah, it's not a signals class. Coach Hoop, he works hard. Love watching him. And Coach Hoop also. Coach Hoop's always in the chat. Everyone here at Topstep is absolutely amazing. Tell ya, it's one of the main reasons I'm here. Enjoy it, love it. Let's take a look at these markets now. Look what I have, chat. Look what I have. The trollsters up on the top left-hand side. The Topstep live account, my live account. I'm going to see if we can test out in some micros. I decided I like the results from the past couple days in the combine. So I'm going to be testing and starting. I don't think it's really testing, but I'm going to start dipping my toes in the water using micros before jumping into the big old minis with that strategy. Let's get to it though. Let's go through analysis here in the NASDAQ. Let's start on the day tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Before that, we gotta look at the schedule. Tomorrow, we gotta make sure we understand there is major data coming out. We have PPI, core PPI, year over year, month over month, and then we also have initial jobless claims. So it's gonna be a volatile morning. And then look at all the ECB speakers just lined up talking throughout the Euro session, the London session. So shout out to Aaron during the London Open and D during the Eurozone. They're going to see some volatility over there on that side of the pond. So other than that, we know. Look, core PPI, understand. No, we're going to get some volatility. This is in Mountain Standard Time, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then Friday, not too much. Friday's kind of light, but remember, anything can happen with the tweets, with headlines. Let's look at the daily. Let's get back. Let's do some analysis here. Daily chart here in the NASDAQ. And what are we doing? Where are we at? We hit 22,000. This is the first one where we hit 22,000. We not only hit it, we broke through it by 100 points, and we rejected. We've kind of been chopping in this area. This is kind of a nice support resistance area, and you can see where it was resistance. Did we break out? And now is this going to be a breakout? Support becomes resistance, and then do we see a rally and continuation to new all-time highs? Maybe. There's not a lot of reference on the daily chart. You can see back here on November 8th, that was a nice level of support and resistance. You can see that. So, there's not too much. There's a lot of chop, right? A lot of chop back in December, beginning of the year, this year. And then we look at even more. We start to zoom in. We can say, where did we reject? We reject the 22,000, 90s, 100. You say, okay, there's some resistance there. There's some resistance that we've seen before in the past where, this on the daily chart, you can even make an argument for something like this. Like, okay, so there's a decent level of resistance up there. Big round psychological number, 22,000, right? And now let's zoom into an hourly chart. I was talking about this with fast markets. I said, look how buy the dip this market has been. Now, just because, look, we're selling off right now. We're selling off a little bit. You can see there's some volatility. There's some volatility, quite a bit of volatility tonight. Like, look at the DOM. I'm watching this DOM, and it's going crazy, going freaking crazy. I'll keep that open so you guys could see. Now, it's been a buy the dip market. Especially there's no arguing against that, right? Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And every opportunity we get on this hourly chart, finding these beautiful buying opportunities, regardless of what's going on. That's kind of how it's been. However, there's intermediate trends, there's longer term trends, there's short term trends, whatever. There's different types. So you can make an argument that there can definitely be a little bit more of a sell-off, right? So you could see where this is an hourly chart, and you can see where there has been great buying opportunities in this kind of, trend within the trend, right? By the dips in this area, pretty bullish. However, you could also make an argument that, hey, if we do start to break, maybe there's some buying opportunities a little bit lower, right? So if we do start to sell off, I know Coach Jay, if he was on with me tonight, we'd talk about average true moves. Like, when we start to sell off, how far do we typically sell off? There's some room. There's some room to the downside. If we measure these, sell-offs or pullbacks or whatever you want to call them, and we go through here and measure this on an hourly chart and say, well, what happens when the market sells off in this type of lately? And then we continue and we compare them to where we're at right now, and we say, well, we got more room to the downside. And then we zoom in and say, well, how much more room? Look, sometimes these are weirdly how accurate sometimes these are. So we could come in and say, if this, not too much room to the downside, maybe we come back down and test the next level of support. You can see that there's some consolidation here around these 660s. There's some more support on this hourly chart around 650s. Is this behind my head? You can see it. There you go. So maybe 650s. If we do get a nice sell-off, maybe we could look at some of this support level, right? There's a nice support, and like maybe the mid 700s. You can see there's some decent buying around there. And this is kind of the zone those average true range or those average true move has been in. So I wouldn't mind either, lower to mid 700s. Maybe we get all the way down to 650s, somewhere in that zone. But looking for ways to buy this market. Want to buy it at levels of support. Want to buy it with reason. And now I'm not saying buy it and we're going to hold it for hours and hours and days, but at least position ourselves in the right direction, right? Positioning ourselves in the right direction so when we do start to zoom in to a 5-minute chart and we do look to scalp the market, we have a good idea of where we're at in the market. We have a good idea with trade location, and we're kind of aligning ourselves with the trend. It's something that I'm always looking to get better at. Sometimes we get caught in the heat of the moment, trading, and then we step back and be like, if I would have done that analysis earlier, I probably would have avoided, buying or selling here or doing this there or something. And I found myself very prone to that lately. Now tonight, so far we're just continuing to zoom in. So far what we see is we've seen a nice gap down and we sold off. So that's a decent move. We're seeing some volatility tonight. You can see where we gap down, sold off about 40 points. We filled the gap, and then we got another nice sell off of 70 points. Had some buyers step in again around these 820s. And then another sell off of about 70 points. So do we see some buyers step in and then a continuation? Do we break through these 790s? That's the New York session low. Do we continue to sell off? Do we look for these 750s, can they come into play tonight? Very possible. If we do start to break down below 800 and hold below 800, yeah, I could see these lows come into play. Maybe what, 730 to 750. You can see it's a zone. Everything's a zone. It's not, they're not exact. So somewhere in that zone is definitely an option. But if this does start to hold, maybe there's some buying opportunities there. I'm gonna watch it. Like I said, I'm in my live account chat, and I'm gonna be dipping my toes in the water with micros. Let's move on to gold. Gold, Hoop loves gold. Let's do kind of a similar analysis on gold. I don't want to zoom all the way out to the daily, to be honest. I typically don't. You can see there's a nice trend happening where these, look at buying the dip, buy the dip on gold. We do have something I am interested in. Look at this. This was a level of support. Support did become resistance. We now did break out. And so my question is, do we come up and test these highs? Do we see 3,400? This is an hourly chart. Can we see 3,400? Can we push higher now that we are through this level of resistance? I mean, gold's typically, you would expect gold to go up if the equities are selling off. Maybe there's fear. Maybe that gives us reason to be buying gold. I'm not sure. We already had a nice run up this afternoon. And I mean, that's a decent move for gold. I mean, 1.5%. And then we did get a pullback consolidation. Let's look at a 5-minute chart. I mean, that's very clear, right? Basic technical analysis. Big move, a pullback. We found a level of support. Are we going to see continuation? Are we going to see continuation? Maybe. You know what's also nice is not only did we get that pullback and we're moving higher. Look at this point. Look at this point in gold, these 380s. This was resistance. What happens? Resistance becomes support. And we just seen that in gold. So that makes sense. Resistance becomes support. Support becomes resistance. Maybe looking for continuation move. I would be okay with seeing that nice round 3,400 come into play. 3,400, looking to the left a little bit now. Looks like we do have a little bit of a support resistance level. Zooming in to the past, there's these 97s. That was resistance. That was resistance again, 95s. And then it was also support a few times. So it seems like these upper 3390s, like 97, 96, 95, seems to be a nice area of resistance, right? Zooming out, looking at it. And that's just under the 3,400 mark. So if I do get into a long and this market does start to break out, maybe that could be some first nice targets up there towards like 97, 98, and then ultimately 3,400. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's get some music on. And I need a drink of water before we start looking at this market anymore. There we go. You can hear the music. We're good. 16 ticks collect off 611. Someone's trading the ES. Yeah, I don't look at the chat when I'm doing analysis. Oh, okay. Streaming most of the day and then slow markets. Geez, I enjoy what I do. I'm always wanting to find ways to improve my day trading. Trading is just so amazing. I love it. Let's pull up these micros. Let's get this ready for some. I'll do the 1 minute. We're already. I don't want the ATR on this. I don't trade gold enough to know what the ATR. I know on the NASDAQ it's usually 5 points. So let's see. Top of the hour in 13 minutes. We get 3 contracts. Man, that is the break. I want to be long, chat. Do we see a nice breakout in gold? I think we're seeing it right now. That might be the play. That might be the play. think I just missed it. You're long 2 minis? Yeah, I think this is the play. I missed it. I need to get some better music. I'm still going through music and creating a playlist. You know what? Actually, these are micros, so 100 tick charts would be okay. Yeah, we just broke through those 90s. But we'll see. I want to see how the top of the hour plays out first. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ was right at the support level. There's the 5-minute. How's the volatility? It's down to 17. Down to 17 points here on the 5-minute. So obviously it's not as volatile as the New York session. But you see how there's kind of an uptick. See? New York's slow markets. It's kind of an uptick, a spike in volatility. Right, power hour, and then volatility dies. Now we're seeing a little bit of spike during slow markets. NASDAQ down 0.36. I can see us breaking down. A breakdown trade's actually right here, right now. And I think I'm going to take it, chat. I might decide to take this short. It could go up. Who knows? Yeah, you never know, right? Yeah, there's definitely room to the upside in gold. Okay, I am now short 3 micros. Now remember, this is my live account. Risk 15. I don't know if I want to risk. Risking about 13. I'm looking at these pivots. I believe risking 9 would be better. This pivot right here. Let's risk 9. And let's look for 5 points for the first, which would be 2.25. That would be about it. But I'm gonna do this manually. I'm gonna really do it manually. Let's make sure. All right, let's see what we could get here tonight. There's 4. Okay, there's, oh, baby. Any more follow through on this? Any follow through? Okay, there's the second contract. Let's see if we can get out of that. I'm gonna see if there's a place to, let's limit right above that, right above this area where we kind of broke down. Let's see if we could find a way to continue to limit the risk. I was going to say, we could look for 1 ATR over here on the left on the 5-minute chart, which is 17 points. And, I mean, we were basically there, right? We hit 18. So that was like 1 ATR on the 5-minute in like seconds. Seconds. So let's see what we do. This is an interesting spot. The fact that we just smashed through those 800s. All right, move my CYA. 7 points for that one. See how we formed that nice little level of resistance? So I don't mind having my CYA. Another question I've been wondering is, do I move my stop loss too fast? I don't know. There's 20 points. And my 1 ATR is 18. I need to be happy with the base hits. So I think that was a mistake, chat. I think that was a mistake. Should have closed it for those that 1 ATR. That 1 ATR was basically right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just follow that process. I'm out. Okay, there you go. That was it. That was it. You don't want to get caught up on saying, oh, I should have done it with 3 minis, right? Because you times this by 10. And that's $630 if it was minis. But you need to think of it as points. Points, chat. So think of it as points. Averaged. How many points did I... How many points? Let's take this. Let's make sure I do the math correct. Yeah, chat will probably get this before I do, right? With you got 3 contracts. How many points average is 3 contracts? Remember, I closed one off at 5, closed one off at like 10, 11, 12, and I closed that final off with 18. So I don't get the full points for all of it. Yeah, points not ticks. That definitely not 42. It's sorry, I can't do math. So $63 divided by 3 is $21. Oh man, here's some public on-air math in front of 1,000 traders, 1,500 traders, and I'm struggling. 11 points, 11 and a half, 11 3/4. That's what I'm coming up with too. All right, let's do it. I'll show you how I typically would calculate it. All I would do is 1 contract is equal to $2 a point, right? Because these are micros. And so you got $2 a point, and I was in 3 contracts. So I'm getting $6 a point, right? So $6 a point. How many dollars did I make? Right? So you take 63.5 divided by 6, and that gives you, about 10 and a half. But that doesn't include commissions. So in commissions, yeah, I'm probably about 11 points. Or not down, up. I'm so used to being down, damn it. I'm up 11 points. Up 11 points. You know what'd be funny is if that was a 69. Yeah. 10 and a half points. Net commissions. Oh, there's Brett. Brett Simba in the chats. Are we going for the Bury Big Short yet? Or what, brother? I try. Micros, man. 3 micros. Is that considered the Big Short? Maybe we could get Brett Simba on. Can we get you on for slow markets, Brett? Let's take a look at that gold now. Yep, micros are there for a reason, right? It's one of the tools in the bag of tools that we have as traders here in the futures. You'd love to chop it up? Okay, I'll reach out. Maybe once I get back from Chicago next week. Make it happen. Get Brett on. We could talk about shorting this market. Talk about options. I see Brett you do options, right, Brett? I think I've seen some options play on your Twitter. Gold's not really doing much either. Like I said, we have inflation data tomorrow, so I'm not expecting too crazy of moves. I quit options now, just heavy equity. Fair enough. Too much stress? You're doing options wrong. If options is too much stress for you, you're doing options wrong. I love the will strategy. It's simple, straightforward. You're not leveraged as much as what the the younger generation or the newer online, where yeah, look up the will strategy. That's my favorite. That's the one I always recommend if traders are getting into stock positions. But then it depends on your time frame, right? Are you holding a stock for a day or a week? Yeah, there you go. That's all you need. Sell covered calls and then sell cash secured puts in the stocks that you like. But it depends on your time frame. I know nowadays they have daily options, not on all stocks, but you can typically find a weekly option on a lot of the popular stocks. But anything other than cash secured puts and covered calls can be super stressful, especially in this market. Joe Black, I think you will. It's not. It's a lot more to it than that. I don't look at platinum. Great filibuster. I don't trade, so I don't feel comfortable. Talking about platinum. I'm not even subscribed to the data here. Give who a follow. Head and Shoulders in gold. I don't see a Head and Shoulders in gold, unless you're. Are you referring to this being a Head and Shoulders and looking for it to break up? I'd make an argument as if you're looking at this bearish, I could see it being a double top. If we would have to break down below these 70s. Everyone's rooting for you. I'm rooting for me, man. I want recovery in this account, but you start with small steps, readjusting to the market before you size up. You gotta pay for dinner first. You gotta pay for dinner. What should I do after blowing 5 XFAs with 1 day remaining to request a payout? I would take a step back. And instead of going 5, maybe start with 1. Start with 1. Like, don't put much until you start to settle down, right? If you blew 5 XFAs, yeah, no. Hopefully, Joe. I think you will. I'm excited. Everybody, this is just the beginning. Do you guys see? Oh, do you see MP's interview? Lance just released his interview with MP. Let me share it here. I gotta share that. Did it? Let's see where I shared it once. Let's see if I could share this. Yeah, there it is. Probably that's mine. I mean, I could share his. I could share the the YouTube link, maybe. That. There we go. Good night, Brett. Enjoy. Are you going to short this market? Are you short this market? That's the question. I wouldn't mind it, but I've learned why I'm a perma bull at heart. I've learned it the hard way again the past few months. Tilt derangement syndrome. Maybe long on NQ. I'm watching gold. I want to get long gold, to be honest. I mean, man, gold's already up 1.2%. So does gold have too much room to the upside? I would love to see a deeper pullback here in gold. NASDAQ. NASDAQ's up above 21,800. Wait for more confirmation. Take out the tilt on the practice account. Yeah, you know, that's one thing about practice accounts, right? If you are frustrated over something, or you know, on tilt or emotional, sometimes the best thing for you to do is, you know, if you need to trade or if you want to trade, do it in a practice account until you gain your confidence back or you're able to control your emotions again. No sense just throwing more money. The worst thing you could do as a trader or as a person in general and about anything is, as soon as you start getting emotional, don't think about money. I see it happen, not in just trading, but I'm kind of like that too, where if you get frustrated, you want, like, spend money, right? I'm going to spend money. I'm going to throw money at it to see if I could fix it or get back to break even. I've seen that happen. I've done it. I'm like this. Like, I took a loss. I'm down. I'm just going to, next trade is just going to be twice the size, and then if this one's a winner, I'll have my money back. You're flat, Joe. Good. Thank you. Yeah, Richard. Yeah, Lance was definitely did not like the prop space, and valid reasons for it, right? But it seems like, you know, that's the beautiful thing about actual good constructive conversations and, you know, some open-mindedness. You know, you have an open mind, you can have good constructive conversations, and, you know, maybe you have a change of heart, maybe you have a change in point of views. It's very good to be able to have that open dialogue, and it's also very good to be open on change of views, right? Where I was very hard-headed, myself included, about the trade copier. I was thinking for a while, like, the trade copier, you're copying 5 accounts, you're copying 10 accounts, 20 accounts. That sounded so freaking stupid to me. It sounds like someone's just going to the casino, putting their money in a slot machine, and they hit a multiplier, right? It's a multiplier. That's just, instead of putting $100 in, they're putting $1,000 in, and then if they blow one account, they're actually blowing 10. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world, but the more I understood why traders are using a trade copier, the more I liked it. Now, with anything, there's right ways to do it, or healthy ways to do it, or unhealthy ways to do it. There's always both sides, because a trade copier is definitely one of those double-edged swords where if you are consistent and you have that confidence to follow your process, it could be very beneficial, and it could help with emotions, or, you know, like this. If this was trade copied 5 accounts, you know, instead of $63, you know, 63 times 5. That's a good day. That's a good day. But then psychologically, I'm only looking at 63. And psychologically, I was only in 3 micros. But if it was copied against 5, then I was actually in 15 micros, right? Or 1.5 minis. And that was a good day. So there's benefits with it. And then vice versa, right? The negative effect of the trade copier, and that's what I was in the mindset of. I only focused on the negative side. is it gives traders more room to gamble, and if they blow an account, they just purchase 5 more, blow those 5 more, and it just created very bad habits. So yeah, that's the best thing, is to just keep an open mind. What did MP say? I don't know if it was MP or someone else, where they said, you know, strong opinions loosely held, looking for that very constructive conversation, looking to improve. Because the moment you think you're the best, and then the moment you think you're 100% right and nobody else can change your mind, that's a very dangerous mindset. Yeah, if you go on tilt, then those 5 XFAs could be dangerous, or 5 combines could be dangerous. Another bad habit is not clicking cancel, right? Not clicking cancel. I've been there. I've been there. Not clicking cancel. Joe Black, thank you. I mean, you kind of have to, right? Go through ups and downs. If you're struggling, if you're starting to suck at trading, you either give up or you adjust. Give up or adjust. Today I almost canceled my sparring. I wasn't feeling 100%, and I had a sparring session today, and I almost canceled it, but I went to it, and I was not at 100%, and I almost, yeah, it was not a good session for me. But in any sport, in any analogy, adjustments are key. If you can't adjust, you get left in the dust. Can you explain why I went short on this entrance? Yeah, here's a 5-minute chart. You remember that you could, it's also recorded here on YouTube, so you can re-watch it at the very beginning. I did my analysis on the NASDAQ, and you know, we've been selling off, we're down. I did an average true move, and I said I could see this market coming down and testing these 760s, 750s, and we did start to break down a little bit on the 5-minute chart. And then over here on this 100 tick chart, I could see that, you know, we had a level, right? Here's a pivot, here's another pivot, and then we rallied up, and it looks like we was just going to break down. I don't know, did I enter here? I entered maybe a little bit lower, and yeah, sure enough, as soon as I entered, moments later, we just dumped. You think your problem is strategy hopping? It's very common. That is very common. You get stuck in the rinse and repeat. You try a strategy, you struggle, you try another one, and then you struggle there, and then you never find your own. And yeah, I've been there. Every trader's been there at least once. Keep trading, switching strategies until you think you find one that's the golden one. Most of the time I find it's not the strategy, it's the mentality. Not the strategy, but more of the mentality, psychological. All right, let's see. Gold's breaking out. I did miss a trade. I missed a trade. Look at that nice 3-bar reversal on the 5-minute chart. Top of the hour came and gone. And we had that nice breakout, so I missed a trade right there. Over leveraging, yeah, that's can definitely be part of it. Definitely part of it. Chopper 77, what's up? Well, so far, first trade in my live account using this, and we're in the green. 406 contracts sitting in the NASDAQ. Yeah, 400 contracts sitting there. Yeah, 406. Or at 404. 400 contracts sitting at 785. Looks like there was a 100 fill right there at 88. All right, let me focus. I'm going to focus on gold. So let's focus on seeing gold first. What's my take profit on gold? I don't know. I could see us getting up to these upper 90s and maybe a test of 3,400 even. It's a big round psychological number. Gold is doing something. I've realized that I need a few survival setups. I mean, one of the biggest keys of trading is being able to survive so that you can trade till tomorrow, right? It doesn't matter how much money you really make. I think it's more important that when you are struggling, how much money you lose, right? Because it's easy to make money when everything's going your way, when you are starting to get in the groove and the market's going in your way and you're feeling it, right? And you're reading the market well. But the hardest part is when you're struggling and you're not reading the market well, how much money do you lose, right? Because if you lose 50% of your account, technically you have to double your account. You have to make 100% just to get back to break even. So the better you are at controlling your losses makes it so much easier when you adjust and start to make money. How did Davey? How did I lose $200,000 in a day? No, it was not 200,000. It was like 240,000. All right, and yes, that was a loss in a day. I do fine overall. I do trade. Can you explain your strategy criteria for long entry using an ATR? Yeah, I forget. It's new that we have new traders coming in every time, so they don't know everything or the full story. Can you explain the 100 tick chart? You say it a lot. Sure, I could explain it. Davey Havoc, yeah, it's all relative, chat. Whenever I talk dollar amounts, just understand it's relative. I have worked with, I've talked to traders, investors. An intraday swing on their P&L is greater than that, right? Think about a longer term retirement account. Say you have, okay, this is extreme, okay, chat? This is not the normal trader. But yeah, there's some doctors, some business owners that they have, you know, say, for example, $9 million in a business account, or from their business or their retirement account or whatever, right? And they're using it very diverse and long term, not day trading, but like, yeah, I own, say, $500,000 worth of shares in Apple, and then $500,000 worth of this company or X company or Y company. And then the swings we were seeing in the market this year, where intraday swings where we would be up 3% and then down 5%, that's a 7% swing. So what's 7% of, say, a $5 million portfolio? Or for that example right there, there's a good example. What's a 5% swing of a $5 million portfolio. That's 200, what is that? 250,000 intraday swings that we were seeing in daily, hourly, right? During all the tariff liberation day. Some crazy volatile markets. Okay, we're starting to build. We're starting to build up towards these highs here in the gold. So I am liking longs even more. I want to pull back or some area that we could break through. I could get in. I'm thinking about getting in if we break through these 92s. Okay, let's get in. Got a little bit of a hesitation, so I'm looking for that follow through. All right, let's see. I'm not used to trading gold with this strategy very much. What is typically I'd look for my stop loss to be there, but that's 5 points. 5 points is 1 ATR. I don't want to risk 5 full points on this one, even though naturally that's where I'd want my stop loss to be. And for a break, I'm only going to be looking for 1.2 for the first one. So that still doesn't make sense. So I think that's where I want my stop loss seems natural right there at 86. There's not really good reference for me to put my stop loss. Maybe right here. Right where we spiked down to. Right where we spiked down to. I'm going to make that decision. I was looking at this as a reference point. See how there's some support and resistance. That's the only reference point I really have for my stop loss is just below that, which is kind of ironic because look where gold went to and spiked down to. And that held as support. You see how different markets, right? Can you see the difference between the NASDAQ and gold when it comes stops? Yeah, I think that's the valid point for my stop loss. It's kind of funny how we spiked down there and immediately held that. Look, I picked the top. I picked the top of that move. We're top pickers. So risking 3 points, 3.2, the ATR is 3.8. I still don't like that. Yeah, each market has their own unique personality. There's a major difference between the NASDAQ and gold. That's for sure. Yeah, this reversal would have been, pun intended, this reversal right there would have been gold. It's golden, that reversal off that support. That would have been the entry right there. You get in around that area, have my stop loss. I think that would have been a better decision. So I'm going to note that. Breakout trades on gold are a lot more difficult when it's harder to define the risk, because the risk is hard to define, right? Regardless of whether this trade works out or not, that was meh. And maybe this helps. This maybe just like, the fact that I was going with a trend saved me because of that. So I want 1.1 points on this one. So let me see if I get out of a little over 1 point for the first TP. So going with the trend saved me. Oh, I got 2 on that one. Okay. All right, let's move the CYA. Looking for 4. ATR's at 4 right now. Let's see if we could get out of another one. About 3. We'll get out of that right there, right at 3 points. And then let's make sure we trail. All right, we got 4. We want to see if we could get 4 on this breakout and then trail it. I like that pivot. I like that pivot right there at 92. And we'll see if there's areas to... I'll trail this. I want to start limiting my risk as fast as I can. Whenever I scalp like this, I'm more about let's manage risk as fast as we can, as long as the market will allow it and at good reference points. We are almost we're at 3 points. ATR's sitting at 4.2. I think, yeah, we're starting to see an increase. I was saved by the long-term analysis, right? The long-term getting in with the trend, I was saved by that, I think. The fact that I seen this and the market sold off, it hit that, and then we started rallying, and that's where my stop loss was there for a second. So I didn't like that risk. It was hard to define my risk. The pullback, getting in on the reversal, had a much better risk. So a little bit of a mistake there, and I would have already had a nice profit locked in, and so that was a good trade. It was a decent trade, but I didn't like the way I executed it, just because I got in up here, right? So think of it as how much meat was left on the bone. This nice rally. So there's 3 points. 3 points. Okay, closed off of my 2, scratched for that third contract. But then if I was able to get in at, wait, patience, get that defined risk, then this overall move, I mean, that's, 1.5 of that ATR. And it's just set up again, right? As I was talking, look, that set up again. So are we going to see a continuation higher? So that same setup could have happened again. Same thing, identical. Right there. Yep. Let's see. So everyone's saying NASDAQ is NASDAQ, the Michael Burr sell-off. Brett says. Nice. So 2 trades. How many points was that one? Let's do some calculation. Let's go GC. Okay, I want to focus on those. So 96. Oh man, anybody want to do the math for me? How many points? I was up 63, right? So someone do the math for me. I don't want to do the math. So 107 minus 63, 44 bucks. 44 bucks. So I made $44 on that, divided by 3 contracts, which is $14 per contract, and the tick value on a gold contract and micros is 0.1, correct? Tick value on a gold contract is 0.1 divided by 1. So I made 14 ticks, which is how many points? 7 points. 14 ticks is how many points in gold? 1.4? Okay. Screw math. Yeah, screw math. We're traders. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So about 1.5 points averaged. 1.5 points averaged. And one of those contracts I got stopped out for break even. So the ATR here is 1 ATR, right? So 1 point ATR. And so that trade was about 1.5 ATR on this chart. I with bad execution. Real traders, real calculators. Yeah, you say the teacher said you'll never have a calculator wherever you go. Look at that trade. Look, that trade, same setup. That same setup happened again. What the heck? Math is torture after a choppy day like this and then getting punched in the face. Yeah. That same setup, man, we're probably already at 4 points. Pretty close. Yeah, we're going up there to those 97, right? Yeah. What made me decide to focus on gold? During slow markets, gold's been more consistent than the NASDAQ for the way I'm seeing it. And gold's been moving pretty well. Nice clean breakout. If I wasn't scalping, I'd still probably be long, which maybe the scalping strategy, maybe it works well in gold, and maybe my older strategy works pretty well. I don't want to say older, maybe just a little bit looser stop, and my how I normally trade works really well on gold. That was a nice clean breakout trade, and this could very well be true. I could trade normal how I was trading. Maybe I trade normal on gold, and then I'm more scalpy on the NASDAQ. That could very well do that, right? You don't have to follow the same strategy on every single market. Say gold and NASDAQ, maybe I trade them differently. And that's probably the right answer too, to be honest, is each market has different personalities, and that would only make sense. NASDAQ continuing to push lower. Yeah, I think we still have more room. We're down 0.5% here in the NASDAQ. We're getting to this level, not too much room, maybe an extra 25 points. We continue to sell off too. We'll see. Made a good amount today. The day's just starting, but I am up $107, so I'm pretty proud of that. Trading micros. And if I was trading my normal size, I would be up $1,000. It's a $1,000 banger day, but don't want to get into that what ifs, right? He was about, I should have been a bear in like April or March. March was the good time to be a bear. Zachy, are you being serious? You never explained your strategy and where to enter/exit. I just blew my account. I can't take that comment serious. 500 lots on ES. Gone. Yeah. Do this 10 times a day and that's $1,000. Thanks, Joe. Joe, I never know whether you sometimes are trolling, sometimes are being serious. Just so everybody knows, Joe Black, who's in my VIP team, did pretty well. I enjoyed seeing statistics, and it was a rough VIP season, because that was the VIP season where The volatility was insane. Insane. That was, what is it, March, April, May? Like, I cannot see another season for the VIP team members to have as crazy of a market like that. Yeah. Greetings from Colombia. Welcome. Don't spam the chat though, please. We see the comments. Don't spam the chat. Yep, there's no perfect boat for a storm. You just work hard. That's all it takes. There's no luck, right? Luck is, what's that saying? Luck is between the at the crossroads of hard work and preparation, or something like that. Make your own luck. It's true. The harder you work, the luckier you get. Everyone here that likes Michael Jordan, that's one of his favorite things to say, or not exactly, but he's like, same thing. Or what do you say? He's like, I'm sorry if I made it look too easy. Oh, well, I don't know if that's the exact quote or not. Dakota, for scalping, is 1-to-1 risk reward a requirement, or can you scalp with bad risk reward with small sizing and adding? No. So I would say that you cannot. This is an interesting conversation. So let me do this. Let me show this. This was some statistics. Here's the dashboard. Here's a combine. Okay. Here's my win trade percentage. 71% win rate. Okay. But then the average loser versus average winner, that's an upside down risk reward. So you can't really, it's hard to give one without the other. Now, I wouldn't say focus on one. You can't have risk rewards and say, if I have a good risk reward, I'm going to be profitable or successful. And then you can't say, oh, if I have a high win percentage, I'm going to be profitable and successful. That's wrong. You have to have a balance of both. It's okay to have an upside down risk reward as long as your winning trade percentage is high. The better statistics to pay attention to is your, what is it? Your expectancy. If you can make money, and if you can have your expectancy, your I don't know, there's other words for the same meaning, because if you make money in the long run, that's all that matters, right? You can have a low risk reward and a high winning trade percentage, and you can make money. Or the opposite, right? If you have a high risk reward but a low winning percentage, you can still make money. It's a balance. I'm all red. OBS is silly like that sometimes. It seems like I'm always adjusting it. Trading is a fast way to get poor and a slow way to get rich. I like that. Unless you're a roaring kitty. Roaring kitty. Do you trade crypto? I don't. I do not trade crypto. I almost bought Bitcoin on that pullback. I should have now with hindsight. Dakota, start scalping with you this week. My preferred trading method, but you helped me so much to make smarter scalps. Got paid out $1,500 today. Wow, nice. Did you take a payout? Is that what you mean, Brad? Did you take a payout, or did you just make $1,500 today? Either way, it's the same thing. It's good. Obviously, I want to hear about the payouts. Any hashtag slow markets? Hashtag slow markets, meaning if you post on Twitter and you tag me. Oh, you took a payout. Okay. Congratulations. Nice. I like that. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. That deserves credit. I gotta appreciate stuff like that, Brad, if you don't mind. Gotta appreciate it. Love to hear that. Guess the 3-bar reworked. If you shorted gold, sure. I'm not active. I don't have Instagram. I don't have other social medias other than the one that you see on the Twitterverse. And I'm doing it for the community here. Maybe, though. I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm thinking about it. I might have some stuff cooking in the background. Might have some stuff cooking in the background. Wow, NQ. Do we bounce? Are we still continuing to sell off? We dropping like, yeah, we're at that support zone now. These 760s, 750s. Another 30-point sell-off. What am I doing watching gold? NASDAQ is on fire. Something's different about me tonight. I don't know. What even is gap? What even is a gap? Look over here. That could be, might be, that's a gap. It's a gap in price. But usually you want to look at the bigs, like the minis, like NQ, not MNQ, like NQ and a different time frame, not a tick chart. To me, gaps don't mean anything. But who knows? Man, look at this NASDAQ selling off. How do I get 2 time frames? Up here. So look, select layout. And then you just change the time frames on each of the charts. Buying opportunity here in the NASDAQ? Maybe? Maybe? I don't know. We're down here at this level of support. Let's look at the hourly. We could still get down. We could still sell off further. Let's look at the daily. I was going to point something out on the daily. Is this a 3-bar reversal on the daily? Yeah. Right? But we've had it before. We've had a 3-bar reversal right there. That got bought up. We had a 3-bar reversal here. That got bought up. I lost my butt on that one. Lost my butt on that one. We got a 3-bar reversal here. Does this get bought up? I don't know. This is an unfair value gap. An unfair value gap. That was unfair. But yeah, these low to mid 70s, or 700, 730s. So it's like what, 718. NASDAQ's down 0.5%, 0.6. Where's Jay? He's been working all day. I didn't want to. He definitely needed a break after how well he was able to do the day show. Bringing people on, people leaving, managing charts. He even did at the buzzer. And so I would not want to, like, yeah, Jay, come join me for slow markets tonight. He needs a break. Especially, and then, you know, maybe he does have some preparation, I'm sure, to get ready for Chicago next week. Yeah, he hosted all day. Yep. Yeah, he's a very busy guy. How do I create a stop in Topstep? I'm not sure if I really understand what you mean, but you know what a good, if you want to know how to create something or do something, some of the basics on this platform, there's a question mark over here on the left hand side, and you can go in here, and then there's like a help center, right? There's a help center, there's 5-minute tutorials, there's a few sources that you could go through and get those details on. NASDAQ found some buyers right there in those 50s. Like 25 points. 20 points right now, anyway. Those 5-minute videos are awesome, right? Oop. Go here, Topstep 5-minute tutorials. Like break even button, copy trade, additional features, placing orders. Maybe that's what that trader was talking about. Nice. Great, short and sweet. Yep. Gold's still not doing much. As someone teetering on futures probability and learning the will option strategy on the side, thank you for oh, of course. 4B. Of course. Shorted euro, US dollar. We have currency futures. Someone's in here trading currency futures. What is that? 6J or something? There's Australian, Japanese yen, Swiss franc. Today, I think we've seen someone on the leaderboard trading the Swiss franc. That was great. There's the euro, 6E. Vikram, haven't seen me use the ATR. Is it something new? I'm doing it to demonstrate everyone kind of what I'm doing. It's been a lot better to explain it to traders, where I'm using an ATR to help judge for my take profits for scalping take profits, I guess, judging volatility. But typically, honestly, if I was not on air, I would close out of these. Not so much gold, because I still need gold. I don't trade gold very much, and so understanding the volatility in gold when scalping is different. But when I'm trading the NASDAQ, I've got a really good understanding of how the NASDAQ trades, so I don't need these ATR indicators on my chart. So if I was trading just by myself, I would get rid of these indicators. But since I'm doing on air and I get questions asking what it is, then it's been a nice tool for me to explain it a lot easier. And then ATR, if you didn't know, it's an average true range. So this is ATR 14. This takes the last 14 candlesticks, and it says what's the average range of those 14 candlesticks. Right now it's at 17.8. So that means each candlestick on average from high to low is about 17.8 points on the NASDAQ. And this is average, right? Some big, some small. It just helps me gauge volatility, like how volatile are these markets? We never traded currencies. All right, let's see if we can get in long gold. Long the gold. We didn't get all the way down there. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Let's see if there's going to be a buying opportunity here in the gold. Of course. Joe Black, that's my theme song right there. That's my motto. That's okay. We have new traders joining in, and traders who's never traded before. We have people tuning in for the very first time. By the way, who's here for the very first time? in slow markets. Anybody in here for the first time ever? Try not to lie. Will I be able to tell? Probably not. But first timer, me. Are you really a first timer? Or are you just saying that? I never know. Second time. Okay, great. My first one was earlier today, so kinda. Well, welcome. Got 3 years. Does that count? Nice. First time. A lot of new traders. See, that's why I don't mind explaining things, even though sometimes it might feel like I'm repeating it, is because there's new people tuning in, and I love that. Yeah, Andrew, first time for today's broadcast. First time with your dad teaching you. Welcome. You don't even remember. You learned so much. Yep, we all started somewhere. I always wish, man, if I had something like this when I was learning, I would have loved it. Not needing to pay for some person online who's selling like books or courses or discords. I could just get online and turn on the YouTube. Not have to pay. No need to pay, right? Most of it was self-learn, Giftshark. A lot of it was, unfortunately, self-learn the hard way. And then we have this trader meetup in Chicago. So next week, the team's going to Chicago. Well, the team's out of Chicago, but we're doing a trader meetup here in Chicago next Wednesday. It's coming fast. Me, Jay Barron, they're flying in. Hoag, the team's going to be there. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to have so much fun. And it's only a week away. Only a week away. I'm going to close my eyes and wake up one day and it's already going to be here. Does Woody's have frozen peas? I don't know. Learn on combines, sim account. Yes. Yep. Please. Oh, everything is going to be recorded. But the people who show up, they probably will get to see a little bit more on the inside information. Come to Pinehurst. Not everybody golfs. I do. Some of the on air, like me, Jack, Mick, MP's just, I think he got into golf last year. JD. You'll see how shy you get in person. Dance on the table. Andre said he's doing karaoke. I think Jay's gonna join him. You'd love to make the trip down to Chicago? Next Wednesday. Joe Black. Hey, there's gonna be more. There's definitely going to be more. I'm not seeing too much left going on. And we're coming to the end of class. NASDAQ still holding. We're still holding the lows. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Remember, once again, just a reminder, tomorrow morning, 7:30 Central, we have inflation data, core PPI, and we also have jobless claims. So tomorrow we're going to see a lot more volatility around that time. Heck, we might even see a lot of volatility during the London session with all these speakers with, Aaron trades during the London Open, and then D during the Eurozone Markets are settling down just a little bit. I took 2 trades, 2 bangers tonight. Man, slow market scalping this has been, it's been gold for, yeah, it's been golden. It's the golden. I think I'm 4 for 4 on slow markets with this strategy. What, I take 2 trades last night and both were banger. I don't know. My memory's shot right at this point. But yeah, so far so good. Let's see how tomorrow does. I'll scalp. I'm still gonna be doing this. I made the decision. Look, I'm up $107. Or we could talk about points, right? Dollar matters. Dollars mean less when you're figuring out a strategy and testing a strategy and preparing it. This is me dipping my toe in the water. $107. That pays for a nice dinner for 2. And so I'll be doing the same thing tomorrow morning. You know, still testing this in the live account tomorrow. Does that go hand in hand? Testing live account. I'll be dipping my toe in micros in my live account. How about that? I don't like the word testing and live account. Those don't belong in the same sentence. But yeah, dipping my toe in the water with micros. That would be the debuting. I'm debuting this in micros. I don't know. But yeah, I never want to say testing and live account ever again on air. Internet's forever. So yeah. Dinner for 2 at McDonald's, 107. Nah, that's a. Maybe I just go by myself to like a 5-star. That's like one nice, extremely 5-star restaurant for me. God. Says Baron is trading in the shadows. Are you referring to Baron wanting to do some sparring in Chicago? If Baron, yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna have Baron on tomorrow night. Baron's gonna join me tomorrow night. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, if Baron wants to spar. I don't think it would be sparring. It might be like 1 or 2 minutes. I will not hit hard. I think that's completely. I'm a sportsman first. Sportsmanship comes first. Baron is a friend. I've been getting to know him a lot more, right? He's been joining me a couple days a week, and the last thing I would ever want is for us to go to Chicago, get excited for Chicago, and like the first day, one of us gets like a black eye or something. But even if he hits me first, Kevin, nope. I'm. If we go there and he wants to spar, and I don't mind playing around with him, but he could hit me first. If he wants, I would not go 100%. That would be very inappropriate for me. I don't know if inappropriate's the right word, but if you've boxed, anybody in here who's boxed, you know exactly what I mean. Yeah, if you've boxed, you know what it is. You never want someone who might be new and be put in that situation. But that's not gonna stop it from having fun. We're gonna have some fun. I tell you, if he does, yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Baron's gonna be on with me tomorrow night during slow markets. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, and then like I said, Jay, we're gonna be playing basketball. Maybe we could get Baron to dunk it for the first time. Baron's a tall person. He's a tall dude. He's what, 6'6", and he's never dunked a basketball. That's mine. That's my goal. Jay, me and Jay, that's got to be our goal. See if we could get Barron to dunk the basketball. Yep, Gift Shark. Yep, doesn't matter what sport. It'd be like, now this is not the right comparison, but if you see somebody like, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, I want to see Barron dunk the basketball. That's what I'm excited to see if we could get him to do that. We should live feed it together. Should we go live? I don't know. Jay filming it, egging it on. Jay sitting there watching us spar, or Barron filming me and Jay play some basketball. Live feed it. You guys will watch the live? I don't know. I'm sure it's gonna be recorded. Like, oh man, the teasers. Maybe I'll post a few pictures. Yeah, he's 6'6". I want to see him dunk it. Yeah. Dunking is hard, yeah. I better use my size advantage on Coach Jay. Coach Jay, he's a basketball coach too. He knows how to play basketball. So, I don't know. Coach Jay's probably going to just destroy me in basketball. Gift Shark. Primarily for the love of sport. I love boxing. I love the sport of boxing. I love the art of pure boxing, and surprisingly to some, I'm working towards an official bout. Amateur, of course. Yeah, Jay's a shooter. I could see Jay being a shooter, and he's probably quick. Jay's probably quick, and has handles. So I think that's where we're going to end it. I think that's where we're going to have 2 trades tonight. One on gold and one on the NASDAQ. And both worked out beautifully. So, all right. I'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning. If not, tomorrow night with Barron. And maybe we'll talk more about sparring. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Take care, everybody. And I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.